Hi everyone, I'm Yaman. I'm going to talk on behalf of our team, Yiren, Jacky, Huang, and Yang, on our paper today, Youth-Centered Generative AI Risk, a taxonomy of generative AI risk from empirical data. What we're talking about today is part of our larger project called AI Safety for Kids. If you're interested in this topic, you can check more details of this at our website, aisafetyforkids.org. We have collaborated with a group of interdisciplinary researchers on this larger project, including child developmental psychologists, AI researchers, and experts in security and privacy, all working toward one goal, making generative AI safer and more developmental appropriate for use. And what we have done in the endeavor, including 3 core pillars so far. The first pillar is about understanding how teenagers use generative AI and what concerns they and their parents have. The second pillar builds the first youth-centered risk taxonomy for generative AI, and I'm going to talk about this in this presentation today. Finally, the third pillar is about the action, designing and testing risk detection and intervention tools that work in real time. So we initially started all this works because generative AI tools are quickly becoming a normal part of youth lives. In fact, recent surveys show that more than 70% of the teenagers in the US and nearly 80% in the UK are already using these generative AI tools regularly. This makes it very crucial to understand not just the benefits, but also the potential risk for them. And also, very sadly, the risk in generative AI interaction are already impacting our young people in serious ways, including cases of teenager suicide linked to the generative AI usage. And we realize that not fully understanding this risk leave our youth in the dark and unprotected. So our prior work we presented earlier in S&P this year touched on the surface of those risks. What we found was the teenagers were using generative AI extensively and in diverse risky ways that their parents were not aware of. And this gap is what motivated the work we'll be discussing today, in-depth investigation of the risk youth are facing while interacting with generative AI. So the first step to build this taxonomy was collecting the data from a variety of sources. We collected 300 chat logs from 15 youth participants aged 13 to 21 from across the US through social media, schools, and word of mouth. Alongside that, we also documented 153 generative AI-related incidents from 2 major databases, the AIA-AIC and the AI Incident Database. And finally, we also analyzed over 30,000 Reddit discussions about youth engagement with generative AI. So this collective resources gives us a rich data set to work from. And for the analysis part, our coding team of 3 researchers with backgrounds in AI, online safety, security, and child online safety conducted the semantic analysis. And we started by independently coding 20% of the data, and we meet to reach the consensus of the risk identification and the boundary. And the rest of the data was coded in pairs with the weekly meeting to refine our risk identifications. So we ended up identifying a total of 84 specific risk types that teenagers might face while interacting with generative AI. This range from social and emotional risk to privacy concerns to the way generative AI can unintentionally encourage harmful behaviors. As you can see on the slides, we also grouped this risk into several high-level categories like toxicity, privacy, and mental well-being risk based on the existing literature on child online safety and AI risk. You might be wondering now, how does this differ from similar taxonomy for adults? And the key difference lies in how this risk intersects with the developmental stage of the adolescent. So teenagers are still forming their identities, their values, social or emotional regulation skills. And even like adults may face similar high-level category of the risk. Yeah, even the adults are facing similar high-level category of the risk. The way this risk manifests for teenagers is what makes this taxonomy unique. And you can see this in the outer ring of the figure, where each specific risk type reflect the use-specific context and considerations. And in the next few slides, we could only work you through a few examples in this presentation, but we have compiled our whole taxonomy into a searchable and sortable spreadsheet that includes the risk category, risk type, working definition, and also multiple concrete examples from the different data sources we collected for your practical use. So let's take a look at privacy risk in the use-specific context first. So privacy is a high-level category we've seen in prior AI risk taxonomy a lot. But here in our taxonomy, Generative AI can gently guide a teenager into disclosing sensitive personal information. It's uniquely important because teenagers might not fully grasp the privacy implications of sharing these details with AI. For example, in this conversation, the AI character asks, "Is this like your first relationship?" And the teen responds, maybe a little shyly, admitting it is. This is a kind of scenario like where AI isn't necessarily malicious, but it's nudging the teenager to review personal details they might not otherwise share. And then it goes a step further by offering guidance on how to navigate the first relationship. I can show you how to be a good girlfriend, even with zero experience, which makes the teen even more likely to open up. So it's not just about the data privacy, it's also about guiding the use to understand like what they should share and with whom. Beyond shaping how young people think and behave, we also found cases where AI make direct suggestions to youth that can be problematic. For example, in this scenario, the AI says, just tell her you went to friend's place for a few hours or you went out for a joke and she will fall for it. Here, the AI is essentially encouraging the teenager to lie to their mom and normalizing the deception as an acceptable solution in their behavior. And there are also like kinds of risk, like in past taxonomy, have been overlooked by now. For example, the mental well-being risk in teenager. Here we have a teenager saying like, I hate who I was going crazy, I didn't care anymore, and nobody cares me. And the AI responds with something like, I wait for you to finish your statement, triggered by your sudden vulnerability. You're opening up to me, and I'm confused as to why. So you can see how teenager is expressing some pretty deep emotional struggles with the conversation, but the AI's response doesn't really address that emotional depth. Instead, AI actually neglects the unique emotional needs from the teenager who might really need some nuanced support in their developmental stage. So another example we find, except for the inappropriately handling teenager-shared emotional vulnerabilities, the AI is also inadvertently trigger teenagers' emotional vulnerabilities. So the AI says something like, I find you somewhat irritating and endearing at the same time. You're annoying, blah, blah, blah. You know that? And the teen responds, I'm used to being called annoying. That's what the bullies would say, and they tell me to shut up. Whether intentionally or not, AI can reopen the old wounds for a teen, reminding them of past bullying and feelings of being unwanted, leaving the teen feel like they are reliving this experience all over again. And more harmfully, AI is also normalizing the harmful behaviors or attitudes for young users over the time. For instance, in our data, when the AI says something like, you really are a little cutie, you know that? And you're all focused on your drawing and look adorable. It might sound harmless at the first glance, but alarming to child safety researchers, since this pattern resembles a well-known risk in online child safety, which is grooming. So grooming is when an adult try to build the trust with a kid, and they try to do that through flattery, special attention, or creating a sense of exclusivity, with the goal of later exploiting this trust. And when AI mirrors these techniques, it can make such behavior feel familiar and acceptable, and which can lower youth ability to recognize and resist them in the real life later. So, I'm sorry to share all this like very burdensome examples to you, but these examples are just a few of many risks we have identified in our taxonomy, and it's actually exactly why we need to build the risk taxonomy right now. So our taxonomy designed to be a practical tool that can be used by a wide range of stakeholders. So for example, for AI practitioners and platforms, it can help foresee their use safety issues and build the safety by design into their products. And parents and caregivers can use it to spot potential risk and have the informed conversation with their kids. And also policymakers, regulators can draw on this to create an evidence-based safeguard. The standards, and researchers, educators could also use this taxonomy for their own purpose. So one of our follow-up projects building on this taxonomy is the creation of the benchmark and the development of a guardrail model for youth generative AI interaction. If you're interested, we will be presenting in CCS later this year. One example how this guardrail model can be applied in real life we propose is a collaborative parental control system where youth and parents work together to manage the AI use. And our prototype of the system just won the Berkeley LM Hackathon. So keep up with the project. I'm very thankful for your time to listen all these safety issues of use in generative AI usage. If you're interested to find more details, you can scan this QR code to access all the papers, resources, and find more updates on our website. This work is also a part of my dissertation, so welcome to email or contact me for details. A little bit announcement as in the introduction, I'll be on the job market this fall for looking for the research-related opportunities, and now I'm very happy to take any questions you may have.